and welcome to the October 2016 edition of Curriculum Connection. I'm Medford's Curriculum Director, Laura Lundy. Tonight we will continue our look at personalized learning. Last month we focused on how each of Medford's buildings has created personalized learning spaces. But tonight we'll focus on what teachers are doing differently in their classrooms to personalize the learning for their students. There are many moving parts to personalized learning. There needs to be a balance between giving kids freedom while still ensuring that all kids learn the essential ideas and skills necessary. Fourth grade teachers Rachel Mildebrand and Sadie Jensen have been working on personalizing their classrooms at the end of last year and the beginning of this year.
Personalized learning is all about giving kids voice and choice. And so we've really been focusing on giving them voice about what they want to learn about, but keeping the Common Core standards important in our curriculum as well, and then also giving them the choice for how they want to learn, how they want to show what they've learned, and what they need to work on more.
Giving kids options of different seminars to attend versus giving just one lecture requires planning by both the teacher and the student.
For opinion writing in October, we had the students write a pre-assessment before they learned anything about writing. And then after that, we used a rubric to give them the feedback on what kind of writing it was, and then they would have to fill out a personalized learning plan.
Instead of giving kids all the same information and practice at the same time, personalized learning allows students more flexibility to choose how and when they want to learn, which gives kids practice at being responsible.
At the beginning of the school year, the kids were very excited about this freedom, and during our math seminar block, they can go to Moby Math, they can get homework help, they can just work on their homework, or they can play math games that are centered around whatever topics we're working on in class. And for a lot of the kids, they were like, I can play a math game right now? I'm going to play a math game. And they chose that option, but as a consequence, they had homework at home, which they didn't like. Or, I'm not doing very well in class, but I'm going to play a math game anyway because I can. And as a consequence, they didn't really get much better because they weren't putting in the extra effort for themselves. Quickly, they started to learn, and I would make little conferences with them and say, hey, how do you think you're doing so far? What do you think we should change? Are you making good choices for yourself? And they started to learn and realize that I shouldn't be playing math games now. I have gymnastics, I have football, I have hockey after school, and I need to make sure that I'm getting my homework done now so I don't have to do it later. And I need to make sure that I am going to Mrs. Jensen to get extra help because I don't get how to do rounding, and I'm getting I's and N's, and that's not okay with me. And they were really awesome. I was really proud of how that changed, and it was rather quickly. I'd say 1 to 2 weeks of them just experimenting and failing, and some kids it took a little bit longer, but I would say everyone in my class is there now.
Personalized learning can be done with small and large classes. Middle school teacher Becky Risch has choir classes that can be as large as 70 kids at a time. This year, she has found that personalizing the learning path and pace for her students allows them to be more active in their learning.
In just the short time that I have been using personalized learning, a huge difference. When I would originally teach, all of my students were in their chairs, listening, passive learning. One at a time, maybe 10 kids would get a chance to participate. This way, with personalized learning, everybody is working on the skills they need to work on, whether it's treble clef, whether it's bass clef, whether they want help from me, whether they would like help from another student, but everybody is actively learning for those 15 minutes versus passively learning for 10 minutes day after day after day.
Like the teachers in the elementary, Mrs. Risch says that some kids need practice at making good choices.
That have not tested yet took a test today, so I'll be able to see if they've shown progress. I know there are a few students who have not been making good choices in their activities and who probably will show no progress, but then I can sit down with them and show them their pretest, their assessment now, and say, you've shown no progress, so let's take a look at the activities you've chosen. These might not be the right activities for you. Let's make some different choices. And so It'll help me and them take ownership for their learning, for making their own choices, and hopefully change their choices.
Medford School's Rural Virtual Academy has been personalizing learning since they began. RVA Dean of Students Sarah Holowinski says students have a lot of flexibility in the RVA.
In the RVA we have two separate models. We have the elementary students who are given a placement test when they enroll in the RVA, And we look at the results of that placement test and we customize their curriculum to meet their needs. So just because they may be a third grader doesn't mean that we're giving them third grade curriculum. We may be giving them fourth grade curriculum if they're advanced. Once they get that material, they can move through it at whatever pace that they want to. So if they finish, before the year is done, they can start their next set of materials. Some students take, a whole year, a whole calendar year to finish their curriculum. Being that we're a year-round school, we can give students those types of options. In high school, students start their courses. We have daily direct instruction, so they start their courses with their teachers, and then they have 2 weeks required attendance. And after those 2 weeks, if they're doing well and they can show that they understand the material and they can keep pace with the course, they can move at their own pace. So they could technically finish the course early. And again, as soon as they're completed with it, they can start another one.
There has been some expected and unexpected successes for the classrooms that have tried personalized learning.
I have seen some awesome things. I've seen kids test out so fast that I'm like, what do I do next? And then I've seen kids just blossom in terms of showing leadership skills that I didn't know they had, and take new students under their wing and help them, and just spread out and say, hey, can I help you? Hey, can I help you? And so just seeing some of these wonderful things blossom from my students has been just incredible.
Another success story I have is with a student that I thought would not make good choices. And when I gave up the freedom for him to sign up for seminars, I was kind of thinking, this isn't going to go very well. And I was so happily surprised with the choices that he made to watch a video for the first seminar, and if he didn't understand that, he signed up for the same seminar but with the teacher, and with teacher help for the second seminar. And so in his brain, he knew what would be best and created a plan for that, and I was really happy with that.
We've seen a lot of success giving students more ownership of their learning. They get to focus on things that they want to focus on. They get to move at their own pace, which they enjoy. They get to take advantage of different opportunities because of the flexibility that they have.
I have several students who have tested out, who want to take on what we call Genius Hour, a project of their own. One of them wants to teach himself guitar, so now that they've learned the note names, they can apply it to guitar. And so they're really excited about branching out, staying with music and note names, but branching out on their own and doing something else.
The students I talked to said they enjoyed the flexibility of personalized learning.
And I think I can go at kind of my own pace. I don't have to wait. If I already know this lesson, then I can watch the video and I can be quick about it, and then I can do my problem set, and then I'll be done. I don't have to wait all the time waiting, just already learning something that I already know.
I just like the personalized learning better because I get to do what I personally like to how I learn instead of just how everybody else likes to.
If you were stuck on this module or concept, you would get it more because she would just teach you a whole bunch of different ways until you get used to it, and then when you get used to it, then you would know the concept.
Personalized learning does present some challenges for teachers and students alike, especially when it comes to planning and organization.
One of the challenges when it comes to personalized learning is organizing in our heads and also in the students' heads where they're going for what seminars. And because we've been team teaching, and Sadie's room is a few doors down, it's really hard for my kids and her kids to know where they're going, what materials they need, and for us to know where they're going and who to expect, how many kids to expect in the class, to make copies for whoever it might be. That would be one of the challenges we're still struggling with. We do Google Forms sign up every morning, and they sign up for the seminars they're taking. We think it's working okay, but we are looking for other ways to see if it'll work.
It hasn't been perfect. One of the things was when the students are able to take an assessment when they're ready, it's hard for me to keep an eye on them so that they don't cheat. So we've had to address that issue. One of the issues I was not prepared for was how fast they would learn. And I am very organized, and I was ready to a point. And some of my students blew me away that they're now tested out, and what do I do? And I started to panic a little bit because I wasn't ready for that next step. So it's an exciting panic to think, oh my gosh, I can do so much more than I've ever been able to do before.
When teachers move from a traditional to a personalized learning classroom, the role of the teacher changes. High school teacher Tracy Swedland uses the analogy of a tour guide versus a river raft guide. A tour guide knows a lot about a subject. However, participants on a tour are usually passive listeners. In contrast, when a teacher personalizes their classroom, the teacher becomes a river raft guide. The experience changes from passive to active. A river raft guide prepares and assists their students down a rapid-filled river that changes daily. The stakes are higher, the kids are engaged, because the kids are in the boat instead of on the shore. For Curriculum Connection, I'm Laura Lundy.